So where are we at on the Overweight Operator gear?
Dude, I've been calling people for months and trying to get them to send us equipment, and really, it's really been pretty well received out in the firearms community.
I saw a couple things coming.
I mean, really, when I call and say, hey, I want to get gear that I can review for regular Joes that are overweight operators, everybody's been like, heck yeah, I'm on board. So I think we should go to the range and just tell some of the guys out there just what we have found out and maybe give them some helpful hints without going into in-depth like reviewing.
So not really do a product review, just say pros and cons of each one and
exactly.
what's working best for us.
Maybe see what works out there in the world.
Right.
All right, let's go to the range and try it out, man.
I finished my pizza.
Of course. You think I'm gonna leave pizza on the table?
I hope not. I'm just checking.
All right, let's go to the range, man. All right, Don, we talked during lunch about a couple issues that I personally had when I was carrying my firearm.
Right, and I was thinking about that while we're heading back over to the shop. So I think what we're going to do for this video is actually figure out what issues you're having and address each one of those individually and see if we can come up with a solution that works for you overall.
And this is going to cover everything from maybe carrying a gun to what kind of belt you're going to choose, right?
Absolutely. You get to the core objective of find out what works for you, find out what doesn't.
Well, hopefully this is going to work for all overweight operators in general.
That's the idea. All right, Alex, so what do you think the number one issue is?
I would definitely say firearms choice. Now, currently, I've actually switched guns to a single stack gun, and I actually do enjoy carrying it a little bit more.
So you carried, what, the VP9 before that, and what'd you switch to?
I actually have the Shield 45, and once I've switched, and I've done other things like switch holsters and stuff, but actually it doesn't print as bad for me, and I've really noticed it's a little bit more comfortable to carry.
Was it originally a comfort issue or because printing is why you decided to try to find a different gun?
For the most part, it was actually because of printing. Because when I was going out to eat with my family or just, going out in general to Walmart, I felt like it was always sticking out the side and really printing a lot for me, especially being a big guy. That's another issue that we always have.
Right. Different body types are going to push on different guns different ways. I get it. I've had that problem. That's why actually I switched positions altogether.
I didn't just change my gun, I also changed my holster.
What'd you switch to?
I switched to a hybrid style, kind of like what we have here from Crossbreed. It has the leather back and Kydex front.
Okay, is that for all, I hear the word hybrid all the time. So that's a hybrid holsters where you have leather backing and a Kydex, so you have two different types of materials.
Exactly. So the reason I actually switched this is because of this high rib here, this piece of leather. So when I sit down and the gun goes in, it actually folds over a little bit because I have a big fat love handle, you know how that goes. And it actually protects me from the top of that gun pinching into my side.
Kind of like a sweat guard on a standard Kydex holster.
Right, this one actually came from Crossbreed. Now I know that you're currently carrying one from Gladiator Concealment that is more of an appendix style.
It is. I actually prefer appendix, and as we've talked about in the past, people can't understand how I'm comfortable doing it, especially with this belly here. But I switched about 2 years ago, and it is extremely comfortable for me. However, I have to have a sweat guard. I've tried some holsters that were cut straight across and didn't have that sweat guard. The gun's constantly on my belly. There's, sweat issues during the summer, and it rubs, digs into me.
And I totally understand that, but one thing that I actually disagree with you on there is the horn. That horn there is actually what digs into me for the most part. I know it does not dig into you, but that's the difference between body styles too.
Right, and this is one of the things when you're starting to look at holsters, you're gonna have to try on multiple holsters. Everybody's body style is a little bit different. Everybody's will push in a little bit different direction. And there's other issues that kind of come into play with this is, what type of a belt do you have? Is it rigid? Is it a thick 1 3/4 belt, which I personally like, and I know you go to like the 1 1/2.
Sure, so we actually have two of them here, one from Liberty and one from Click belts. Now, these are both great gun belts, but there's a difference between a gun belt and a regular everyday belt.
Right, so there's a lot of everyday carry options out there, but it's kind of come down for me is I wear my gun belt all the time because I always have a gun on. I don't ever go anywhere without one. So,
but there's a lot of guys out there that might have to go to work and they have, a nice shiny leather belt on.
Oh, absolutely.
I know that you can buy those at Walmart or any place else, but those are not necessarily gun belts. And what's the reason why?
Well, that's one of the biggest mistakes people make. And when guys come to the shop as well, as well as I do, they'll come in and the gun's just kind of flopping off the side, or they're not getting good retention, or they're printing because that belt is not rigid. If you can't roll up that belt and stand on it without it folding, it's not a good gun belt.
Right, and just a little helpful hint, definitely being in the Overweight Operator series, you have to find out if, when you're ordering a belt, if they charge fat tax also.
That's true.
It is kind of a term out there because, you know, if you ever go to a store and they have the size 2, 3, 4 X's and they're $2 different or whatever it is, that's something you have to look forward to also.
Well, I know we've actually had that issue in the past too with,
right.
with our Top Gun shirts. You know,
Absolutely.
they charge us an extra $3 or $4 to get a 4X.
Right, so same thing in a belt company. Make sure they do not overcharge you too much just because you're a heavy-set guy that needs a little bit more material.
Absolutely.
All right, Don, we've talked about gun choice. We've talked about belt choice. We've talked about holsters. Now, what about range gear? I know it's a huge issue for me, especially finding things that fit, like, I don't know, safety glasses.
Yeah, I know that's been a big problem for you. We've tried out different products and you haven't found any that have been built to fit your head. So.
Yeah, you know, like a regular safety glass like this does not fit my big dome. Now, we actually partnered with another company out there and we have our own set of safety glasses. Now, I'm really the reason that we have these for the most part. These are ballistics rated, but they actually flex with your head. That's right. They go all the way around. They fit. I know that you use them all the time when you're on the range also.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're comfortable for me. My head's, you're what, a 2X, something
Yeah,
like
this
that?
is the 2X hat.
So I'm like peeking out a 1X. I could almost go to a 2X. So, I mean, that's just kind of reference for size for people out there. So we need, when you're trying to find larger glasses that will stretch around our bowling balls here, it makes it tough because a lot of them aren't made for that.
So when you're going to your local gun shop or your local range, definitely try on a couple different pair of eyewear to make sure they fit your head, and it's not the best thing to buy over the internet.
Right. Well, another thing that I ran into is when we're talking about range gear is my carry rig for like 3-gun and stuff. I mean, It was hard to find a good, durable belt that wasn't going to, where my mag pouches and stuff aren't pushing up against me so tight and I don't have any rigidity.
Right.
So G-Code actually sent me a rig out. I've been using it for a couple weeks now. The versatility on it's absolutely fantastic. It's the most comfortable range type rig I've ever had.
I absolutely love my G-Code rig also. For adjustability mainly. It can fit even the smallest guy all the way up to big guys like myself.
Yep.
All right, Don, let's get into the final part of the series. We are going to talk about how to make yourself comfortable in general.
Well, I think something that most people don't actually consider is minimalizing. So one of the things I recently did is Ridge Wallet sent some stuff out. I've been carrying like a big, thick leather wallet forever. I switched to this minimalist wallet from Ridge Wallets. I didn't like it the first couple days because it just really screwed my routine up. Now I don't even notice it's there. It has helped tremendously. Now I actually have switched over and I'm carrying an extra magazine in that pocket, whereas before it wouldn't have fit with my old wallet.
Right, so a lot of guys actually say, hey, my back hurts. And they're blaming it on the belt or the holster. It could be the wallet that you have in your back pocket.
Absolutely.
So switching to something like the new Ridge wallet that's like a minimalist wallet, I've actually noticed a little bit of difference myself.
Yep, I absolutely love it. And the fact that I've switched over to a magazine carrier in my pocket, and I think you've already done this as well with NeoMag.
Right, NeoMag. Actually,
Yep.
I have it in my pocket right now.
I've got mine in my pocket right now too.
So the thing I really like about this is your extra mag just clicks right to it. You fit it in your pocket. It's super comfortable and
super easy to get to.
And a lot of guys like ourselves, we don't like carrying an extra mag where it's poking up, and we don't like the the horizontal rig, that kind of thing. But having it in my pocket has been super comfortable lately.
Everything else that I've tried on the outside, and I've never carried a spare mag, just because it poked me in the side or it dug into my back. It was a pain in the ass to get the belt off and on and get it hooked up. I don't like a paddle design in anything as far as a mag carrier. And honestly, if I wouldn't have switched to the type of wallet that we got from Ridge, I wouldn't be able to carry this extra mag in here either. So now I have them actually the same front pocket, and I don't even know they're there.
Right, and clothing. We're going to cover clothing. That's something that we talked about earlier that I know that not a lot of people think about.
People don't really address clothing. I think one of the bigger issues is you have a lot of guys, and we see it in the shop, that are bigger. Now in Indiana, you can carry exposed. You don't have to
We
conceal
don't
carry.
suggest it, but you can do it.
Right, that's not our position. We don't think it's a good idea, but that's another video altogether.
Sure.
But a lot of guys, just because they carry on the outside, so they don't have to worry about trying to conceal it. They just throw on their flannel or whatever and go and say hell with it. But us, we always like to be concealed. So trying to find the right cut of shirt, the right shorts, and the right jeans to wear to help minimize any kind of printing has been difficult.
So if you were a first-time buyer out there, you're kind of a heavy-set guy like ourselves, or an overweight operator, what are some things that we've talked about here, just to recap, we can talk about, hey, get yourself a good holster, something that's going to be comfortable for you. Get a good belt, something else that's going to be comfortable for you. Hey, what kind of shirt you need to wear, what kind of clothing in general, what kind of things you can use to minimalize all of the stuff on the outside.
Here's probably the biggest tip I can give you guys if you're starting out and going kind of down this journey to try out different things, is stay off Amazon. Okay, you can't order something and get it in and expect to like it. So, I mean, we have people come in, especially with holsters all the time, like, bought this on Amazon and don't like it, it's crap. And so if you can't try it on, you don't know if it's going to fit your body, especially if you're an overweight operator, because we're different than everybody else.
Sure. So in this series, though, that's why we hope to have so many companies send us stuff so we can do the testing for you to kind of give you a general idea of what is comfortable and what's going to work for the overweight operator.
Right. So we have about 25 companies that send us product now, and anybody else that's wanting to is more than welcome to send us products for the review. So future videos, we're going to break down these products individually. We're going to do a holster video. We're going to talk about 5 or 10 different holsters that we've been wearing for weeks and weeks and weeks, and our opinion on what was comfortable and why it was not comfortable.
So definitely stay tuned, guys. This is just a little short segment about everything that we're going to talk about. So definitely check us out later.
Thanks, stay tuned. If anybody has any questions, don't be afraid to email us.
And definitely message down below if there's more into this series you guys would like for us to talk about.
Feel free to like, share, favorite, and subscribe. There's going to be a lot more to this series.
Thanks, guys.